All right, let's talk about the future. Specifically, what is our world going to look like by 2026? Because right now, we're in this fascinating moment. We've got a bull market that just will not quit. We have an AI revolution that's completely rewriting the rules of the game, and on top of that, we have biotech breakthroughs that feel like they're pulled straight from science fiction. So today, we're going to connect those dots, see how these powerful forces are shaping where the market and really our future is headed. Let's dive in.
And that quote right there from Morgan Stanley really sets the tone for everything. You know, after 3 amazing years in the market, you'd think things would be slowing down. But the feeling is that this cycle, it's not over yet. The thinking here is that there are some really powerful structural forces still at play, which suggests stocks might just have more room to run.
So what's actually fueling this thing? I mean, what's keeping this bull market going? To really understand where we're headed, we've got to pop the hood and look at the big picture forces that are driving the whole global economy as we look toward 2026.
Well, analysis from Jacob William Advisory points to this powerful trifecta. You've got massive government spending, then you have central banks signaling, hey, we're probably going to ease up on interest rates, and the third, which is just a tidal wave of investment flooding into artificial intelligence. Now, on their own, each of these is pretty significant, but when you put them all together, whoa, you get a really powerful tailwind for the entire market.
And here's what that support actually looks like in practice. Morgan Stanley points out we've got a dovish-leaning Fed, which basically means they're looking to make money cheaper and easier to get. You combine that with fiscal stimulus that's set to pump over $170 billion directly into the consumer economy, and, well, you've got a pretty potent mix for driving the market higher.
But okay, of those 3 big forces, let's be honest, one of them is clearly the main character in this whole economic story, and that is the incredible, unbelievable surge in AI investment. This isn't just another tech trend, it's a fundamental force that is actively reshaping entire industries right before our eyes.
And if you want to grasp the sheer scale of what's happening, just look at this number, $126 billion. Now, according to World Pulse, that's not the value of AI software or companies. No, that's the projected sales for the equipment just to manufacture AI chips. It is the absolute definition of a digital gold rush, where the biggest fortunes are being made by the folks selling the picks and shovels.
Of course, anytime you see numbers like that and stock prices going vertical, one question always comes up, right? Is this a bubble? Are we just living through a replay of the dot-com crash from the late 90s? It's probably the most critical question on every investor's mind right now.
And this data from Capital Group gives us some fantastic perspective. Just look at the difference in these numbers. It's staggering. Back in the dot-com era, the top tech companies were projected to earn about $25 billion. Today's AI leaders try $350 billion. The story here is that this boom, unlike the last one, is being built on a solid foundation of real, massive profits, not just the promise of future profits. That's a huge difference.
And that leads to this really measured take from Chris Buchenbinder over at Capital Group. The general consensus seems to be that, yeah, the risk of a bubble is absolutely real, but the fundamental strength, the actual earnings of these companies, suggests we are in a boom, not a bubble, at least not yet.
But here's the thing, the AI revolution isn't just about those huge, magnificent 7 companies. The ripple effects from their work are creating this whole new wave of innovation across the entire tech landscape, way beyond just the giants. So meet the next phase, Agentic AI. TechnoStacks defines this as the leap from tools that help us to systems that actually act for us. We're talking about autonomous AI that can manage complex tasks from start to finish with very little human help. And get this, by 2026, it's expected that up to 75% of companies will be investing heavily in this area.
But agentic AI doesn't just exist in a vacuum. As this table from TechnoStacks shows, it's all part of this powerful convergence of technologies. Think about it. You need something like distributed cloud to give the AI the super fast computing power it needs. You need blockchain to create a layer of trust so these autonomous systems can transact securely. Each of these technologies fuels the others, creating this incredible ecosystem of innovation. And if you want to see just how fast this is all moving, look at blockchain. This idea of tokenizing real-world assets, basically turning things like buildings or stocks into digital tokens, has just exploded. A 308% growth rate tells you this is quickly moving from some niche, nerdy concept to a core piece of our future financial system. Okay, so running in parallel to this whole digital revolution is another one, and it's every bit as powerful. This one is happening in the life sciences. So let's pivot for a minute and look at the unbelievable breakthroughs happening in biotechnology. This chart from Stardust Insights on Precision Medicine really says it all. We're talking about healthcare that is tailored to your unique, individual genetic makeup. This isn't one-size-fits-all anymore. The market for this is projected to more than double by 2032. That's a massive shift in how we approach and treat disease.
And precision medicine is just one piece of this incredibly packed innovation pipeline. The same generative AI that creates art is now being used to discover new drugs. Technologies like gene editing and synthetic biology are fundamentally changing our ability to engineer living systems. It's this amazing convergence of data, biology, and computing that's making biotech such a dynamic field right now.
Okay, so let's recap. We've got a resilient bull market, an AI boom that is very real, and a biotech revolution. The big question is, how on earth does an investor navigate all of this? And that brings us to our final section. What are the strategies for what is shaping up to be a truly pivotal year?
So here's the core strategic question for everyone. Do you just stick with the US tech giants that have been delivering these incredible returns? Or is it time to look abroad? Well, both Capital Group and Morgan Stanley are pointing out that the opportunities are broadening. There's real strength starting to emerge in Europe, in Japan, and all across Asia's semiconductor industry.
And for a super specific example, check out this forecast cited in the Macau Post Daily. Goldman Sachs sees the potential for a 20% jump in China's market. And why? Because of the exact same themes we've been talking about: massive AI investment and supportive government policies that are boosting profits. It's a great reminder that these growth stories are happening all over the world.
And really, that all brings us to the key takeaway, and it's summed up perfectly in this quote from Martin Romo. In a world this complex, with so many powerful forces all pulling in different directions, the winning strategy probably isn't about picking one thing over another. It's about finding balance. It's about diversification.
So we'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. We've talked about a future driven by AI that acts for us, and biotech that can literally rewrite our genetic code. As these incredibly intelligent, powerful systems take on more and more complex work, the real question for 2026 and beyond is this: what's left for us? What is the new role for human ingenuity? Thanks for tuning in.